Our family ranch has sat peacefully on the edge of town for nearly 75 years. 10 acres of sugarcane, some citrus trees, a small herd of cattle, and a big front porch where Grandpa reads the paper every morning before dawn. Life was simple, until the HOA moved in next door. A brand new development, Sunset Meadows, sprung up like a blister on the land next to ours. Cookie-cutter homes, decorative mailboxes, speed bumps, and an HOA board so drunk on power they thought their bylaws reached past their actual borders. Problem was, our land wasn't in the HOA. Never was. Never would be. Didn't stop them from trying. It started with letters. They requested we repaint our barn to match the community aesthetic. Then they demanded we trim back our trees on our side of the property line because they cast shadows onto approved HOA lots. We ignored them. Next came the so-called compliance inspections. 2 men showed up in blacked-out SUVs marked HOA enforcement. Not cops, not county officials, just HOA rent-a-cops with badges they ordered online and egos too big for their vests. They'd sit at the end of our drive with binoculars, observing us. One morning, Grandpa caught one of them snapping photos of our hay shed through the fence. He walked up and told them they were trespassing. They claimed they had authority to inspect for cross-boundary violations. Grandpa replied by running a tiller up the dirt road and blowing dust into their windshield until they left. But they weren't done. 3 days later, I came home to find a section of our front fence flattened. Tire marks led right up to where one of their black SUVs was now stuck in our front pasture. Wheels spinning, hood steaming. And who was standing beside it? One of the HOA enforcers, arms crossed, barking into a radio. Grandpa stepped out onto the porch and said, "What in God's name do you think you're doing?" The guy shouted back, "HOA business. We had probable cause to inspect this structure. Your fence was a visual obstruction and may be non-compliant with shared land regulations." Shared land? Grandpa scoffed. This land's been ours since before your HOA's founding members were born. "I'll call the sheriff," the guy threatened. "You should," Grandpa said. "But in the meantime," he whistled toward the barn, and out came old Betsy, our sugarcane loader. A rusty old beast, basically a hydraulic crane on wheels with massive forks used to scoop cane into trucks during harvest. Grandpa climbed into the cab, started her up, and slowly rolled toward the stuck SUV. I tried to stop him, but he just gave me that "don't you dare look." With all the grace of a farmer who's done this for 60 years, Grandpa slipped the forks underneath the SUV, lifted it clean off the ground, and rotated it 90 degrees toward the road. The enforcer freaked. "You can't touch that. That's HOA property." "You mean the property that just rammed through my fence?" Grandpa growled. "I'm just helping it off my land." He drove the loader down the dirt path, SUV still dangling in the air, and deposited it just outside our gate, right into a ditch. Not damaging it much, but enough to send a clear message. By the time the sheriff actually arrived, the HOA rep was fuming, taking photos and threatening lawsuits. But the sheriff knew us, knew Grandpa, and after hearing both sides, he looked the guy square in the face and said, "You broke their fence. You trespassed. You impersonated a peace officer. If they want to press charges, I'll back them." The HOA backed off publicly, at least. They quietly paid for the fence repairs, and their enforcement vehicles were never seen on our road again. They even sent us a letter weeks later, saying they reassessed the jurisdiction boundaries and confirmed we were outside their community guidelines. As for Grandpa, he painted a sign and hung it right next to the rebuilt fence. "Private ranch. Trespassers will be relocated by loader." And every Sunday, he still sits on the porch with his paper and his coffee, watching the HOA security golf carts roll by at a respectful distance.